All right, just for the record, Chief Brian Gould, Town Chief of the Cheektowaga Police Department, District Attorney John Flynn. I have Lieutenant Daniel Albrecht of our Detective Division, along with Lieutenant Justin Haig of our Detective Division. We're here to announce that yesterday, detectives from the Cheektowaga Police Department arrested a 17-year-old male suspect in connection with the incident that left police officer Troy Blackchief critically injured. I'm going to turn it over to the District Attorney to speak a little bit about the charges and the mechanics of what he's allowed to speak about, and then I'll follow up with a couple comments at the end. Attorney?
Okay, thank you, Chief. So as the Chief stated, yesterday there was a sealed indictment that was opened up. This matter went into the grand jury over the course of the past few weeks. The grand jury voted on an indictment. When the case was reported out yesterday, an indictment warrant was issued for the 17-year-old male who was indicted on numerous charges. That indictment warrant was then given to the Cheektowaga Police Department, and the Cheektowaga Police Department, within a matter of hours, went out with the indictment warrant and picked up the individual, brought him back for processing, and he was arraigned late yesterday afternoon. He was arraigned on 9 felony offenses. He was arraigned on 1 count of aggravated murder in the 2nd degree, which is a Class B felony. Unfortunately, we cannot charge aggravated murder in the 1st degree against a police officer because that penal law charge is prohibited for minors. Obviously, I think something that Albany needs to look at. But in any event, we could only charge the attempted murder in the 2nd degree. We charged 1 count of aggravated assault upon a police officer, also a Class B felony. 2 counts of assault in the 1st degree. Those 2 counts are under 2 legal theories. One is the intentional legal theory. The other is in the commission of a felony offense, which he did. We also have 1 count of assault of a peace officer, 1 count of grand larceny, 1 count of criminal possession of stolen property, 1 count of reckless endangerment, and 1 count of the unlawful fleeing of a police officer. So these are the alleged facts that I can talk about right now. It is alleged that in the early morning hours of February 6th of 2023, the defendant and numerous other individuals, we believe approximately 5 other individuals, came into the area of Penora Street in the town of Lancaster. The suspect and his friends were allegedly in the process of stealing as many cars as they could. And at some point, allegedly, the defendant stole a white Grand Jeep Cherokee, which was parked outside of a residence with the keys inside the car. And let me start right here by warning everyone out there, don't leave your keys in the car. In any event, the defendant got the keys and stole this white Grand Jeep Cherokee along with his buddies. And him and his buddies were now driving around in stolen vehicles. They were they did this at approximately 4 a.m. At approximately 4:25 a.m., they were traveling at a high rate of speed, and they were noticed by a Depew police officer. The Depew police officer engaged in a pursuit of the defendant, and in that pursuit, the defendant was trying to flee from the Depew police officer. Hence, that is the unlawful fleeing charge. The reckless endangerment charge was the reckless manner of his driving while being chased by a Depew police officer. Again, he allegedly was in a stolen car, hence the criminal possession charge, and he allegedly stole the car, hence the grand larceny charge. About 5 minutes after they were first noticed by the Depew police officer, in this interim period of time, the Depew police officer called out that she was chasing cars, and I'm not going to get any more detail about that, but let's just say cars, that she was chasing cars, which included the white Grand Jeep Cherokee, and officer from the Cheektowaga Police Department, Officer Black Chief, was anticipating, we believe, where they were coming up from on Union Road, and he was in the process of deploying a stop stick on Union Road to stop the vehicles that he believed were approaching them coming from the Depew area. And the allegation is that the defendant saw the Depew police officer and literally ran right into him and struck him. Hence the attempted murder charge, the aggravated assault charge, the 2 counts of assault in the first degree, and the assault upon the police officer. After the strike of Officer Black Chief, the Depew police officer immediately stopped her pursuit and rendered first aid to the Cheektowaga police officer and the other vehicles, including the white Grand Cherokee, allegedly being driven by the defendant, kept going and took off. The white Grand Jeep Cherokee was eventually found in a gas station parking lot on Kensington Avenue near Century Road in the city of Buffalo. It was found abandoned, and hence, after that, the investigation ensued. The investigation has been going on now for the past 3 months, led by the Cheektowaga Police Department. And due to the great efforts of the Cheektowaga Police Department, along with members of my office, we were able to piece the puzzle together. This is a very complicated puzzle. This is a 5,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, which we are not going to get into the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle at this time. I gave you enough facts so far. Those are enough pieces of the puzzle that we can give you, but we cannot give you any more pieces of the puzzle. This is a very complex investigation that was done by the Cheektowaga Police Department, and putting this case together, it took a good 3 months to put the puzzle together, but we have put the puzzle together, and like I said earlier, we presented the puzzle to the grand jury, and the grand jury voted on an indictment of all 9 of these charges. This 17-year-old was arraigned yesterday, like I said, late in the afternoon. He is in the youth part court of Superior Court, and due to his age and the new raise the age law, he will remain in the youth part. Again, it's kind of an oxymoron. It's a youth part of adult court, but he will be in the youth part, and he will continue on in that court. We have a serious physical injury here, so it's not going to get removed to family court, so it'll stay in Superior Court. But I am hopeful going forward that the court takes this as seriously as I do. The court yesterday gave him $80,000 bail. And as far as I'm concerned, that is unacceptable. We asked, obviously, for remand. He should be remanded, but again, for whatever reason, the court decided to put bail on this individual, and he's still in custody now, but we'll see if he makes the bail. We will remind the court that 30 days from now, the least restrictive measures are gone. Okay? 30 days from now, actually 30 days from when the governor signed it, which was when, Kate, on Wednesday? So 30 days from Wednesday, so 28 days from now, all right? 28 days from now, the least restrictive measures is gone. So I'll remind every judge in this community, it's gone in 28 days. I guess technically, yesterday in the afternoon, it's still there, and so maybe that's why the judge put bail on him. This is a prime example of why we needed to get rid of least restrictive measures. Because now, in 28 days, the judge doesn't have to have that mindset of least restrictive measures. And the judge can have the discretion now to do the right thing. So we will now proceed, obviously, with the prosecution. He is going to return to court on May 9th for a review of the matter. At that time, we will request remand and see what happens, and then we will proceed, obviously, with the course of the investigation. I'm going to turn over back to Chief Gould here in a second here, because he's got a lot of people to thank, but I'm just going to thank him. I'm going to thank the entire police department of Cheektowaga. This was personal to them, and this is a perfect example of how you can separate personal from professional. While it was personal to the Cheektowaga Police Department, their professionalism took over that personalness. And they were able to put their emotions, which, again, how they do it, I have no idea, but they did it. This isn't AI. These are human beings here in this department. And they were able to focus on the task at hand and do their job and investigate this matter in a professional manner, while at the same time, in the back of their mind, knowing this was one of their own. And the fact that they were able to separate that and do that is a credit to Chief Gould and this entire department. And I can only thank them so much. And I also want to say that, I know we've heard a lot over the last number of years with, there's been a lot of tragedies and a lot of mass shootings that have occurred not only here in Buffalo, but all across the country. And a lot of times you hear that, thoughts and prayers are not enough. That you need to do more than just pray and have thoughts. Now, I don't necessarily buy that personally. I mean, I think that prayer is the most important thing. But again, I'm not going to, force my beliefs down anyone's throat. But, that being said, I recognize those sentiments. I recognize people who say that. And I agree with them to a certain extent. You need action. You need thoughts and prayers, but at the end of the day, you need action as well. And we got action today. And I'm going to continue to pray for Officer Black Chief. I'm never going to stop praying, okay? I'm going to continue to pray for him and continue to think about him. But I'm also going to give him justice, this department justice, and this community justice for what was done. And again, Chief, I promise that to you, and I can't thank you enough.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. So I just want to take a minute to mention some thanks and just a couple comments of my own on the situation. The officers, the men and women of this department certainly stepped up, as the district attorney said. You know, they put aside their own challenges, you know, their own feelings during this case, and they acted professionally, and they spent countless hours reviewing evidence and putting the case together. You know, it's almost 3 months now since this accident happened, and as much as we would like quick, speedy action, we wanted it done right, and I'm confident it was done right in this case. I've had the chance to see the work that they've done. They couldn't have done it themselves, though. Western New York law enforcement community is a very strong partnership. We have great relationships amongst the chiefs, amongst the district attorney's office, and amongst our officers who all work for our departments. Starting with the district attorney's office, his staff, his investigators, his prosecutors willing to, you know, realizing the seriousness of this case and prosecuting it as such. The members of the Buffalo, Amherst, Lancaster, and Depew police departments who worked tirelessly helping us, you know, put this case together. The local FBI office out of Buffalo, you know, instantly phone calls the day it happened, offering whatever they can help, whatever resources we can need, all the way to Quantico if needed, and the Safe Streets Task Force as part of the FBI. The Erie County Crime Analysis Center, a great group of people who helped us with, you know, with the case, put stuff together. The Regional Computer Forensic Lab, the Central Police Services, and of special note, numerous businesses and civilians within our community who were able to provide us with evidence that helped us solve this case. So we are a community. It takes a community to bring people to justice, and this case is a great example of the community coming together and rallying for justice for Officer Black Chief. Officer Black Chief is currently, yesterday, he left the Buffalo area. He was in Chicago for a while at a rehab facility in Chicago. He made tremendous improvements while in Chicago. He came back for surgery at ECMC last week, and just yesterday he left for Fort Worth, Texas for a second step-down rehab facility. We took one of the pictures that his wife has shared with us. She's keeping a great website for members of the department and the family to see the progress, and it's incredible to see from the morning of February 6th to where he is now. Is just, you know, the arrest makes that day a little bit easier for us, and to see the progress Officer Black Chief has made the incident that day a little bit brighter for us. But nonetheless, he is continuing to improve in his condition, and we thank the community for all the support and well wishes that we've had, that his family has received for his continued improvement. Lastly, I just want to mention, you know, this investigation really showed us a lot, and we learned a lot about what's going on in our community. And not speaking specifically of any individuals, but what we know is that young people in our community are creating havoc. Research has showed us that 16 and 17-year-olds, that's a time when their perception of risk is the lowest and their preference to take risk is the highest. It's like the perfect apex of the worst 2 times in our life. And we're seeing these young people doing it, whether it's the young people who were killed on the expressway in a stolen Kia, or the people involved in this case who were out just repeatedly committing crimes night after night with no fear of consequences, no deterrence to that, no leadership, no supervision at home. I am urging our lawmakers, our judges, I've urged the district attorney, and he's heard my plea, and he's responded with the seriousness of these charges, that we need to do better. We need to do better as a community to engage our young people, to hold those who fail to make proper choices responsible, and to add some deterrence to their decision-making process. It's you know, if we don't, I fear that we're just going to continue to see more tragedies and do more press conferences and talk more about how bad things that are happening. So we're happy to work together with our partners in the community. We understand young people make mistakes while they're growing up, but there's a difference between somebody doing it once and somebody who is repeatedly, continually making poor choices with no regard for the safety of the people of our community. So I look forward to working with whoever can help us make a change in how we're handling these cases. And again, I thank the District Attorney's Office and all of our partners in law enforcement who were able to help us make sure that this individual is charged appropriately and will be prosecuted appropriately.
Any questions?
Chief, did this tragedy make you guys consider stop using the stop sticks?
The issue with stop sticks is well documented. Officers being injured using them. It's something that we've trained our officers for. We've made them aware of. It's policy. Every time any use of force, any pursuit happens within our department, it's our policy. It gets reviewed. This is no different. This has been reviewed. It will be reviewed. We'll address issues that may or may not have come up. And it's something that we as a leadership of the department absolutely would consider. Even on a successful one, we'll look at it. And that's just a matter of policy that we do.
What about, is the body cam footage going to be available at all?
It's evidence of the case, so.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Not yet. Yeah. We're going to. In general, body cam. I got no problem releasing body cam footage in general if it's focused. And if the body cam footage just shows the incident that happened and doesn't have any tangential elements to it, the video, all the video footage in this case right here, is links to the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle, and so I don't want to release any of that now because it's gonna show links to the other parts of the puzzle. So that's why I don't want to have it out now.
You keep talking about this case being like a complex jigsaw puzzle.
Yep.
Does that make the prosecution any more difficult?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It definitely does. I mean, the more pieces of the puzzle you have, and the more evidence that you have, sometimes makes it harder. Obviously, we believe we have a strong case. Obviously, this young man is innocent until proven guilty, though. And these are just allegations here, as I said numerous times. But no, I don't put cases in a grand jury unless I believe I have the pieces of the puzzle put together.
Was there anyone in the white Jeep with him, and are they facing charges?
I can't comment on that. Yeah.
If you could, just describe to the community too what it's like when any time a law enforcement officer, is critically injured like this. I mean, it's such a deep wound to all of you, but I don't think sometimes the community realizes how difficult it is.
It's absolutely difficult. That morning we were in this room, and it was a very difficult day for me. To have to let our community know that one of us is hurting. Quite frankly, that morning, that week, we weren't even sure Officer Black Chief would make it through this. He's a very strong individual. He's had, the top care possible provided to him, starting with the amazing work done at Erie County Medical Center, the Shirley Ryan Ability Lab in Chicago. But it's difficult. From the first officers, pulling up on scene, having to, provide life-saving care to one of your own, somebody wearing the same clothes as you, it's difficult. The investigators having to look at the evidence, watch that video, over and over again to make sure we didn't miss any critical evidence in these videos, incredibly difficult. And, I think it speaks to the work that the profession that we've chosen to be in, is that we understand that. We understand that we have to, we have this tough job within our community, And it also speaks to why we take officer wellness so important. We have a wellness coordinator, policies that talk about how we respond. We have a full-time behavioral health specialist who was here with our officers, making sure they were okay following this. So difficult days, but we do everything we can to make sure that we get through them.
For the DA, you mentioned what's going to change in 28 days. We all know that was included in the budget. But you, before that, mentioned you'd like the state to take a closer look at some aspect that would affect this case. Can you just go into detail on what your hopes are that the state does?
Well, sure. So there is a murder in the first degree statute. And the murder in the first degree statute has a number of different elements to it. And one of those elements is that if you murder a police officer, or if you, and then, with that is the attempted murder of a police officer. So that would be murder in the first degree. If this individual was 18 years old, I would have charged him with attempted murder in the first degree. But the penal law doesn't allow that. The penal law says that you cannot charge a minor with attempted murder in the first degree. And so I think that's something that should be looked at. I'm not sitting here right now advocating that it's got to be done right now, tomorrow, okay? Because I try to be fair and open. There's probably a counter side of that, I know what the counter side is going to be. The counter side is going to be, and it gets back to what the chief mentioned, is that 16 and 17-year-olds, their brains are not fully developed yet, and I recognize that. I got 5 kids myself, and I can personally tell you that a 16 and 17-year-old's brain is not fully developed. I got eyewitness accounts of that, okay, on a daily basis. So I recognize that. But on the other hand, there are actions that 16 and 17-year-olds do that, on the scales of justice, override their mental incapacities, in my opinion. And raise the age law, and to a certain extent the bail law, and to a certain extent the discovery law, and to a certain extent, but not so much, the legalization of marijuana, but I won't throw that one in there. But the majority of these so-called criminal justice reforms that have been enacted in New York State over the past 4 years have done a lot of things. But from a 30,000-foot macro level, they've done one thing. And what they've done is they have eliminated accountability. And when you eliminate accountability, that fosters chaos in society. And the raise the age law is probably the biggest one, and the bail law. But the raise the age law certainly has eliminated accountability in use in New York State. And that needs to be looked at as well, because what I have no problem with counseling and with services for our young people who get caught up in a criminal justice system. But we are in a system now where the entire focus is on love. And it should be, at sometimes, also brought in tough love. And there's no tough love at all. It's all love. And that's a problem.
You also mentioned telling people to make sure they don't leave their keys in the car.
Yeah.
Community responsibility. We're hearing a lot of people leave their car doors unlocked. Easy access to vehicles that can be easily stolen. What about the community responsibility with this?
Oh yeah. There's definitely community responsibility, and as an heir, that the owner of that, I'm sorry, I don't want to put a guilt trip on the owner of this car. I mean, I'm not here to do that. But in general, I obviously need to, you know, let the community know that there are groups of kids who are going around this entire county with the purpose of stealing cars. That is their fun night out. They are going out in the communities in groups of kids, and they are looking for cars to steal. That is happening in Erie County, all over Erie County, on a nightly basis. And these kids are doing that because they have no fear. There's no accountability, getting back to what I said earlier. And so, you know, the public needs to know that, and the public just needs to lock their cars and bring your keys in the house. Don't leave them in your car. Don't leave your key fob in your car. Bring your keys in your house, lock your car, and that will solve the problem.
We know that's happening because we've arrested these kids. We are making arrests in these cases, and it continues to happen. You know, we have taken every chance we can to do the public messaging of lock your car. You know, the Tonawanda Police Department every night at 9 o'clock on Facebook puts out a reminder. Make sure your keys are safe, your car is locked. It's a 9 o'clock reminder. We've done things about businesses because we've had cars stolen at gas stations because people think they can run into the convenience store and their car's gone. And then that's not even mentioning the Kia and the Hyundai issues where it is continuing to this day. A huge number of Kias and Hyundais being stolen. You know, the club, it's a $40 Amazon purchase that will deter these thefts. You know, I seen downstate they were able to secure a bunch of Apple AirTags to be able to track cars, and are telling people, you know, it's a $100 purchase, but at least if your car gets stolen, you'll be able to know where it is. You know, the community does bear some responsibility to make sure that we are making it harder for those who choose to terrorize our neighborhoods to be successful at it. So we continue to try to drive home the message. Lock your cars. Don't leave your keys in the cars. And if you own one of those cars that is very easily stolen, please take some extra measures to make sure that you are protecting your vehicle.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys.